As I mentioned in my introduction, we are here with three great Army chaplains: Air Force chaplain, Veterans Affairs chaplain, Chaplain Ethridge, Veterans Affairs, Chaplain Doug Lee from the Army, Chaplain Charlie Baldwin from the Air Force. Gentlemen, I welcome you today.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
I would also honor you today. You know, my experience as a commander was often that the troop that was hurt on the battlefield or had a need wouldn't call for me first. He wouldn't ask for the general or the commander. He would say medic, and he would say chaplain, because they wanted physical help and they wanted spiritual help. So I honor you today for your years of service to troops and families and veterans who have served. And so God bless you. Thanks for what you've done. And I know in each one of you, you have a real heart of service. And in your heart of service, I know that you likewise honor troops and families. I would just give you a moment to reflect on the sacrifices of troops and families. Chaplain Baldwin, any thoughts?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, General Dees. It was a great privilege I had to serve for about 35 years on active duty with the Air Force, 5 as a pilot and 30 as a chaplain. And I have such great love and respect for all those who wear our nation's uniform in all the services. Of course, my walk has been with the airmen, and they are a tremendous group. Different deployment schedule, and it's just the way the Air Force does business, back and forth, gone 4 months, home for 4 months, 8 months, gone again. So the rotations are not as long in the theater, but they are often. And the sacrifices of these airmen and their families have been great, and it was such a privilege to just walk with them for a little while and to pray with them, to be their pastor for a period of time. And I honor them today, and thank you for the privilege to hopefully be of help in the days ahead.
Sure, and we honor you, and thank you, particularly in your last assignment as Air Force Chief of Chaplains. You really mentored and shaped a lot of things in the U.S. Air Force, so we thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Chaplain Brigadier General Doug Lee, U.S. Army retired.
U.S. Army retired. It's hard to say that.
That's right.
I'm enjoying that new role I'm playing. Thank you for this time today and for asking us to be involved with this. You mentioned the word sacrifice. You know, I was in almost 31 years, and almost all my career was working with the reserve component folk, although I was active duty as a reservist for a good length of that time. But the word sacrifice has a special meaning, I think, for the reserve components, because here you have, as we call them in the Army, twice the citizen. They've got a civilian career to maintain and all that goes along with that. Then they have a military career they are also pursuing. They are incredible people, incredible people. And now we've seen in this recent war how they have come to the colors, how they have been willing to sacrifice, some of them even their jobs and other things, to be able to serve their country. Then you add to that the fact that all of our military forces are less than 1% of our whole population, and the word sacrifice, in my mind, gets a capital S with these folk. And to be able to be a chaplain and to work with the leadership, but also the youngest soldier that comes across my path, to be able to serve them and assist them in this great task has been thrilling. And as a newly retired chaplain, I know I'm going to miss all that, but I'm grateful that ministries like this carry on, you might say, some of that work in assisting our great soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines, and Coast Guard.
Yeah, you got it. Well, and thanks for your contribution as well. And thanks for the unique insights you're going to give us, particularly to Guard and Reserve forces and the stresses they face and the opportunities they face.
Thank you.
Well, and Chaplain Keith Ethridge, we're glad to have you from Veterans Affairs. And
thank you, General.
You have a pretty broad population, be it World War II veterans,
absolutely,
up to OIF, OEF veterans from the recent conflicts and everything in between.
A lot of Americans would be surprised to know that there are over 23.5 million veterans in the United States. And even in our most recent conflict, we've had over 800,000 leave the military service just since January of 2002. So there's a tremendous population of veterans that we believe really form the core of our American culture, and serve in every aspect that you can imagine, in every job you can think of. And those sacrifices and the great skills that they learned in the military continue to exist there today in everyday life in our communities. So we have a lot to be thankful for in the American veteran, and I'm glad to be here and to say a word on their behalf and the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Well, and we appreciate your service to veterans over many years, and thank you. And you also are going to give us some special insights into how we help them in the future. Those are pretty big numbers you mentioned, and across those big numbers, it gets right to the heart of why we're doing what we're doing in this video series. We recognize that the institution of the Veterans Affairs or the institution of the Department of Defense cannot handle it by themselves. We really need to mobilize grassroots America, the churches of America, the counselors across America. And so I know that this video today will particularly equip counselors to understand who chaplains are, what chaplains do, how they partner with chaplains, and how it's all part of this equation that the military men and women and their families and veterans and their families have to navigate and are embraced by.